owner of world's oldest confectionery shop who hasn't had a day off in 6 years, says it is the sweets that keep him going. The owner of a confectionery shop officially named the oldest in the world hasn't had a day off in 6 years, and claims the secret to his relentless work rate is sweets. Keith Tordoff, 62, eats half a pound of sweets a day and is convinced his organs have been preserved in sugar, which means he can match the demands of the job. The father of one often skips lunch because he's already had his fill after gorging on handfuls of sweets which are stored in glass jars and still weighed by the quarter. He has no plans to retire anytime soon and hasn't suffered any major illnesses from his sweet-toothed habit, only a couple of fillings and cracked teeth. Keith stocks more than 200 varieties of sweets at the modest store called The Oldest Sweet Shop, which he purchased from the previous owner 25 years ago. Keith, who lives 1 mile away from the 191-year-old business, specializes in traditional sweets, and bestsellers include blue raspberry bonbons, rhubarb and custard, and licorice midget gems. Around 20,000 visitors call in to the shop every year, described as a TARDIS because of its size, which sits nestled at the top of the high street in Putley Bridge, North Yorks. But his story of sweet success has come at a price. He hasn't had a day off from the shop, which is open 7 days a week for 6 years. He said, "I've not had a day off in 6 years and a holiday in 20. I'm not complaining because I get a buzz from what I do. If I got offered a holiday to the West Indies tomorrow, I would give it away. I love sweets and always have done. I have such a sweet tooth, I eat sweets every day of the week. I'm not greedy in business, but I'm greedy when it comes to sweets. I eat half a pound a day and quite often don't have lunch. Sugar is a preservative and hopefully all my organs are preserved in sugar. We are experts in making sure people get sweets that they remember from their childhood. It's about memories. The things I love about my job are sweets, dealing with customers, and the fact my shop is a piece of history after being named the oldest in the world in 2014. In 2014, his business, which has been open since 1827, was named the oldest sweet shop in the world by the Guinness Book of Records. The former detective sergeant and firearms officer for West Yorkshire Police first visited the sweet shop when he was 5 years old. When the elderly owner of the shop fell ill, he was contacted by a solicitor acting on her behalf who said she was selling up. Keith ditched the police uniform and took over the shop from the elderly woman who kept no books, no records and no stock. The sweet shop is located in a 400-year-old building which only fits around 30 people in at any one time who travel from as far as Sydney and China. The shop is tiny. I describe it as a TARDIS, he added. You can smell the sugar in the air. The beams are original beams. I've got used to ducking. I would never want to expand it because it adds to the character. The first sweet Keith ever had was a mint imperial which he was given by a family member at a funeral. He reached in the pocket of his overcoat and pulled out a white sweet. I put it in my mouth and it tasted like mothballs, he added. I realized it was a mint imperial, and from that day onwards I've loved sweets. The main shopping street in Putley Bridge was ailing in recent times but later rejuvenated under his stewardship, and won the village category of the Great British High Street Awards in 2016. His role in that area's reversal of fortunes is one that has led to him being honored with an MBE for services to business and to the community in Nidderdale. He said, "I'm very honored and quite emotional at the moment. These are the times you reflect on. If your parents were alive, how proud they would be. I'm very proud to say we have a high street which has no empty shops, which in this climate is very unique, as I understand it." His wife Gloria, 61, and son Alexander, 31, and his partner Kirsty, 32, have been lending a hand in the business. In 1827, herbal and spiced sweets were made on site and sold alongside chocolates, boiled sweets and toffees. An early photograph of Nidderdale High Street dated 1903 shows the shop, but it had no signs on the front. Past research had suggested it was the world's oldest, but the record was not officially until 2014. Inside, it has been virtually unchanged for 100 years, with large glass jars on dark wood shelves and the original till, which Keith recognized in an antique shop and rescued,